Welcome to this story. Listening to stories in English is one of the best ways to improve your language skills. It helps you get used to natural pronunciation, expand your vocabulary, and understand sentence structures in a fun and engaging way. Even if you're learning English on your own, listening regularly will boost your confidence and make speaking feel more natural. In this story, you'll not only enjoy an interesting tale, but also practice your listening skills without pressure. So, sit back, relax, and let yourself get lost in the world of English storytelling. Joan of Arc, the patron saint of France and her journey to salvation. Joan of Arc, or Jeanne d'Arc in French, was born around January 6, 1412, in the small village of Domremy, located in the northeastern part of France, in the region of Lorraine. Her birth occurred during the time of the Hundred Years' War, a protracted conflict between France and England that had begun in 1337 and was still raging when Joan was born. This war was fought over control of the French throne, and by the time Joan came of age, much of France was occupied by English forces or their allies, the Burgundians. Joan's life and actions would become crucial in reversing the fortunes of France in this conflict. Early life. Joan came from a peasant family, the daughter of Jacques d'Arc and Isabelle Romée. Her family lived in a small village that was on the border of the territories controlled by the French and the Burgundians, so they experienced the harsh effects of the war. Joan had a relatively simple upbringing, working on the family farm and learning traditional skills like sewing, spinning, and helping with daily chores. She was deeply religious from an early age and was known to be devout, attending church regularly and praying fervently. Religious visions. Around the age of 13, Joan began to experience mystical visions and hear voices that she believed were sent by God. These visions were accompanied by a sense of divine calling. Joan claimed that saints, particularly Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret, appeared to her in visions and told her that she had been chosen to save France and help Charles VII, the Dauphin, heir to the French throne, be crowned as king. The saints instructed her to drive the English out of France and to bring Charles to Reims for his coronation. Joan took these visions seriously and believed them to be a divine command. She initially kept her experiences to herself, but eventually shared them with her family and some local clergy. Despite skepticism, some of the churchmen advised her to approach the Dauphin, the future king, in the hope that her divine mission might be real. At the time, France was struggling, and the future of the monarchy seemed uncertain. Many of the nobility were divided, and the English held vast parts of the country. Journey to the Dauphin. At the age of 16, Joan made the bold decision to leave her home and seek out Charles VII. She traveled to the nearby city of Vaucouleurs, where she persuaded the local garrison commander, Robert de Baudricourt, to support her mission. Joan told him that God had instructed her to help the Dauphin and to lead French forces to victory. At first, Baudricourt was skeptical, but after some time he agreed to send her to the royal court. Joan's journey to the court of Charles VII was not easy, and she faced many challenges along the way. Upon arriving at the court in Chinon in 1429, she was brought before Charles. According to legend, Joan identified the Dauphin, who was hiding among his courtiers, even though she had never met him before. This act was seen as proof of her divine calling. Joan then convinced Charles that she was sent by God to help him reclaim his throne. After a series of tests to verify her sincerity, she was given a military command to lead troops into battle. The Siege of Orléans. One of the most pivotal moments of Joan's military career was her involvement in the Siege of Orléans, a crucial city that had been under English control for months. In April 1429, Joan, armed with a sense of divine purpose and a group of soldiers, arrived in Orléans to break the English siege. Her presence gave the French troops a renewed sense of hope and morale. Joan did not just inspire her soldiers through words, but she also took part in the military strategies, guiding troops and motivating them in battle. Her leadership, courage, and faith were seen as instrumental in lifting the siege. Within days, the English forces were forced to retreat. The victory at Orléans was a turning point in the Hundred Years' War. It significantly strengthened the position of Charles VII and demonstrated that the French could win against the English. Following this victory, Joan continued to support Charles's cause and helped to arrange his coronation as King of France. The coronation of Charles VII, in July 1429, With the support of Joan and the renewed French forces, Charles VII was crowned King of France in Reims, a traditional coronation site. Joan's role in this event was highly symbolic. She had fulfilled her divine mission to see the Dauphin crowned and had played a crucial role in restoring French hope. Joan's capture. Joan's fortunes, however, would soon take a tragic turn. In May 1430, while leading French forces in an attempt to capture the strategic city of Compiègne, Joan was captured by the Burgundians during a military engagement. The Burgundians, who were allied with the English, handed her over to the English forces, and she was imprisoned in Rouen, France. The English saw Joan as a symbol of French resistance, and they wanted to eliminate her influence. They accused her of heresy, witchcraft, and cross-dressing, as she wore male military attire for practical reasons. Trial and execution. Joan was put on trial in 1431, and her trial was politically motivated. The charges against her included heresy, as the English and their allies in the church viewed her as a threat to their control over France. The trial was led by a pro-English bishop, Pierre Cauchon, and was conducted in a way that was designed to break her spirit. Joan defended herself with great dignity, claiming that she had acted on divine instructions. However, despite her defense, the court found her guilty. On May 30th, 1431, Joan was burned at the stake in Rouen, France, at the age of 19. Her death was tragic, but it only solidified her martyrdom. Her courage and unwavering faith made her a symbol of resistance for the French people. Posthumous retrial and sainthood. Joan's trial and execution were later reconsidered. In 1456, a posthumous retrial declared that she had been innocent of all charges and that her trial had been unjust. Her reputation was restored, and she was seen as a martyr for the French cause. Joan's legacy grew over the centuries. In 1920, the Catholic Church canonized her as a saint, and she became one of the most beloved and revered figures in France. She is considered the patron saint of France, a symbol of courage, faith, and resilience in the face of adversity. Joan of Arc as patroness of France. Joan's sainthood was not just a religious honor, but also a national one. Her story resonated deeply with the French people, and she became a symbol of French unity, particularly in times of crisis. Her role in helping Charles VII to the throne was integral to France's eventual victory in the Hundred Years' War. The French monarchy used her image to inspire loyalty and national pride. Today, Joan of Arc is remembered not only for her military leadership, but also for her unwavering faith and her commitment to a cause larger than herself. Her life and martyrdom have made her an enduring symbol of courage, conviction, and the power of belief in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Her story continues to inspire people around the world, transcending national boundaries and religious denominations.